All right, so we talked about various bottom board, boxes, inner cover, outer cover. But I guess we need to talk about the frames, the foundation, and hey, we'll even cover queen excluders while we're at it. We'll just kind of throw them all in here into this little batch. So the frames, they're simple in design, but you need to pay attention to why they're designed the way they are. Obviously, like I said, with everything else, there's a reason why it's built like this. If you want to build your own frames, that's fine. I dare you. But what I've found when I look at time value of my money, what it's worth, the time it takes me to build those frames, my personal rule, I don't know if I've mentioned it to y'all or not before, but it's, you know, I try to make 20 bucks an hour as a minimum. And that's mostly based around my actual career where I make more money than that, but mostly I made that rule so I don't find myself out piddling around, you know, doing things like pulling nails out of boards when I could be doing something far more valuable, like actually building new wooden wares to sell to other people or whatever. But just a little, I digress. So the frames themselves, like I said, I found, you know, you can buy them pre-cut, unassembled online for a heck of a lot cheaper than you could build them yourself. Unless you have just a really awesome wood shop that's set up for it, and that's why you can buy them cheaper online, because those guys that are making them do have a wood shop set up to just pump out thousands of these things a day. But the frames, you know, like I said, they're designed to hang front to back in the hive. But really, I guess the most important thing I want to cover with the frames is just make sure you're running the right size frames for the box and the right number of frames for the box. As far as the right number of frames, that goes back to the proper bee space. So do not, please do not run 8 frames or 9 frames in a 10 frame box. If it's a 10 frame box, put 10 frames in it. I know there's differing opinions on that, and y'all are welcome to research them and try it, but please don't argue with me on it. That's my opinion. That's what I'm going to teach everybody I talk to, because I've seen a lot of messy combs and a lot of just pain in the butt, for lack of a better term, pain in the butt combs that have to be fixed. A lot of effort and a lot of waste that goes into trying to manage a hive that has too few frames stuck in it because somebody thought they'd get a little bit more honey or something. It's just, I can't find the logic in it. It's just not worth it. So please put the proper number of frames per box. If you want to run a 9 frame box, just build your stuff a little bit narrower. And now you're going to run into an issue, obviously, with add-ons equipment. It's all going to be sized for 8 frame or 10 frames, so then you're going to have to make adapter plates or something. So really, I just encourage you to just go with a standard 10 frame. That's where you're going to find all your equipment anyway. I guess, you know what, if you're hell-bent on having 9 frames in a 10 frame box and you need to put in what I would call a dud frame, which would just be fill that space with a solid chunk of wood or something. I mean, that's going to obviously void your plans to have the bees draw deeper combs, or thicker combs, but again, just let's keep it simple. Put the right number of frames per box. The proper frame per box goes back to you know, trying to run mediums in a deep box, and I do that. I move them around from time to time, but it's not a preference. So basically, you know, if I'm short a frame, rather than run 9 frames in a 10 frame box and have a hole, I'm going to throw a medium frame in its place if I don't have a deep frame to put there, for example. Obviously, you can't put a deep frame in a medium box. It's not going to fit. Worst case that happens if you do throw a medium frame in a deep box is the bees are going to attach comb to the bottom of that frame, which is fine. Eventually you can go back and just cut that comb loose, or if you're happy with it, whatever, leave it on there. It's not really gonna cause you problems with burr comb or cross comb, not so much. But you know what I saw one time that was really bad, you guys can go back and find the video. I can't remember which channel it's on. It might be back on my very original channel. I'll try to remember to link it here, but it's where I moved 2 hives for a lady. The tenants of this rental house had moved, left their hives behind, and the landlord found them and said they were going to kill them if they didn't get them moved. And so I went and moved them in a pinch to save them, basically. Well, what this beekeeper, if you will, what they had done, they had bought a deep nuke and they wanted to set it up in an all medium setup, and so they just put a double stack of mediums. They hung the deep frames in the top medium, and then filled out the extra spaces with mediums. And so what they had was the bottom box had 5 mediums either side of those deep frames. The top box had mediums either side, but then those deeps hung in the middle, and the bees had drawn all sorts of comb off the bottom, and this hive in every sense was a complete mess. I couldn't actually take the boxes apart to move the hive like I wanted to, so I had to just throw a strap on it and basically throw my back out to try to pick them up, because I had to pick it all up as one piece to move it. But again, getting off topic here, just keep it simple, run the right frames for the box, run the right number of frames for the box. And you know what, actually I said I was going to cover the other stuff, but I'm going to cut it off here so this video doesn't get too long and put y'all to sleep. Next little video here we'll talk about foundation.